In HTML, we can arrange data into rows and columns using tables. To create a table, we start with the opening table tag. As usual, open and close at the same time. And then the first thing we need to do is to create a role for this table. To create a role, we use the T arrow tag. So this represents one role in the table. Next, we're going to create the data that is going to be in the table. And for that, we use the TD tag. Say here, say names. This basically represents one cell in the table. If we want to create another one, we open another TD tag and then specify department, for instance. Next, we can create another one and say join date. Save and refresh. And here we have our basic table displayed on the page. Now, to make this look like a table, we can use a border attribute and give a size of 1. Refresh. You can see that now it is being displayed like a table. Let's go ahead and create a second role for this table. I'm going to copy all this and paste it here. For the second row, we're going to say John Mack. It's the name of the employee. Customer service is the department. And then the join date is January 2012. We'll save and refresh. We have the data displayed here. This is basically how we create tables in HTML. Now you will notice that both the headings for the table and the actual content of the table is actually being formatted the same. To avoid this, HTML gives us another tag, which is the TH tag. TH tag means that whatever is in between will be marked as an heading. So save and refresh. You can see that this is now being formatted differently from the content. Going to add more rows to our tables. Then we can just change the information in the role. Steve Jobs, design, join date, department, save and refresh. To adjust the white space within our table, we can actually use the cell spacing and cell padding attributes. Cell spacing, let's say 2. Let's give a value of 5 here. And let's say cell padding, we say 2. We'll save and refresh. You can see that the table format has changed. We can also specify a height and width for our table. Say our height is 300. Then for the width, say 500. You can see that the height and the width of the table has increased. We can also merge 2 or more columns into a single column using the call span attribute. For example, I want to add another role to this table, and this role is going to take the signature at the end of the table. Start by defining the first data. Say this is going to be for the signature. Let's use the TH here, make this a heading. And then next, we're going to say TD colon span. Then we're going to say 2. I'll first of all take this out so we can see the difference. Save. All right, so now I will paste this and refresh. You can see that we are actually merging 2 columns together to get just 1 column using the call span attribute. The same is also applicable for the role. We can use the role span attribute to merge 2 or more rows into a single role. Let's just demonstrate this with a simple example. Here we say row span 4. Save and refresh. This is actually taking the space for 4 rows. If you want to illustrate that more, let's add another table data here. Single row. So we can go ahead to add 1 more row here. Last row. Just going to copy this. Save and refresh. Right now, you can see that the last row is disorganizing the whole table. This is because we specify a row span of 4 for this particular table role. So to correct this, we can take away this last one. Save and refresh, and you see it falls in place. So next we can do 1 more to make it all align. paste this and paste this, save, do a refresh. It's going to grab this, do a last one, save and refresh. You can see that this row, which has the row span of 4, is actually growing to fit these all other rows that we have created here. So let us quickly add an image here, and let's specify a size for this image. Save and refresh, and right here we have that image here. Let's reduce the width, 130, refresh. So I'm going to come to the top of the table. I'm going to remove all this. Let's use basic CSS to style the table. First, we open our style, and in this style we want to target the table element, and then want to say the borders should be 1 pieces, should be solid and gray color. We'll save and refresh. Alright, so we have a border around the table. This looks a bit nicer. And now you notice that the cells don't have the borders anymore. To target all those elements, we can come here and say TH and target this one individually. Just copy this and paste here. Save, do a refresh. You can see that the TH now has a border. So the same thing we can do for the TD. Save and refresh. And now we have the borders again for the table. So another way of doing this would be to actually just list out all the elements that we want to target separated by commas. So say TH and TD and save this. Refresh, and we're still going to have the same result. And for the padding, we can use CSS padding to say 2 pieces. Save, refresh. Now we have the little paddings which separates the text from the edge of the table. We're going to see how to style HTML elements as we go on in this series. So for now, I think this is okay for tables.